Yes
I'm
or
not
no?
going to answer that question because that's not what we're talking about.
Yes, it is. Are you okay with
How about you
censorship?
calm down? You see how calm this dude
No,
is? See how
you
calm
won't
I
answer
am?
my question.
You're out
I'll
of
calm down.
control.
Answer my
You're
question.
Out of control.
Are you
'Cause your
okay
argument
with
is weak.
censorship?
You're out of
What is
control
our?
'cause your
Just answer my
argument is
question.
weak.
Are you okay with censoring? You just told me he was taking off. Why was he taking off?
Unlaughable.
So, like,
I can't wait for you guys to
You're
make the selection.
Good luck with that. Come back. I'll give you odds. Well, this all started out innocent enough. This guy comes up and said, we had a conversation back in 2015, getting a lot of this lately, that, he said it was a very interesting conversation. He was going to vote for Hillary. Now, why this guy would come back and speak to me now and get more punishment, because if he was going to vote for Hillary, obviously wasn't too damn kind on him, unless I, maybe changed his mind. I didn't. But it goes on. As I'm speaking to him, a crowd gathers. And as the crowd gathered, it gets more raucous. And I finally wind up with, the small group of these kids. And we touched just about everything, but the main part of this is about censorship and government control. And this might be one of my better performances. Usually when I get into these long performances and have to deal with people coming in and out, it can get pretty choppy. I actually handled myself pretty well here, so this is interesting. That's why there's nothing cut out of this. It just flows straight through. So, hang in there. Hang in there for this one. Or, it's a video. You can watch it at your leisure. If you want to watch, half of it at one time, half of another, do that. But it is a good one all the way through. And if you like it, well, then you know the routine. I ain't gonna spend too much time in telling you what to do. If you don't know what to do by now, then when you're with I don't know, I probably can't help you anyway, but I'll do it anyway. What the hell? Subscribestar.com, Badass Uncle Sam. If you my shop, badassunclesam.threadless.com, PayPal, badassunclesam76@gmail.com. And if you can't do anything else, if you do all the rest, still pray for me. Okay, that's it. Let's get into this one.
I'm just worried about that.
Yep. And the everything's online now.
I know.
But that takes the humanity out of it.
It does.
And so, we need this. We need to be able to look each other in the eye and talk. If we do, because if we lose this,
See, it just gets me, everything, happy birthday, you send an email. I like the personal, I like to get a card.
Yeah.
I like somebody to actually sign their name, Joe Blow, right here. You don't get it anymore.
Well, we're old school, we were, again, we know. See, the thing about us, the young today, they don't have a memory. Right. They don't have the experience that we've had.
They don't want to learn it. I got a 35.
Because they don't know.
My 35-year-old son, rarely does he and I talk on the phone. We see each other every week, but everything is through text. Rather than getting on the phone and saying, "Hey, Dad, what you text?" And being a fast texter, he'd do it in a minute. Where Daddy takes 5 minutes to do it, say hello, but he doesn't. I said, why can't we just say hello? How are you doing? Instead of doing all that writing, he's taking care of my house right now while we're gone down there from up there, and so.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I wanted to bring it back to, some semblance of humanity.
You've done a good job because I remember you so well. I was telling Mike, I said, when I come down here, I remember you and I had a good discussion right prior to the election because I was a Hillary Clinton fan. And I was the big, who else was there to vote for? And I thought, well,
Are you still a Hillary Clinton fan?
Well, no, I'm looking at, I watched the debates last night. We were at the hotel and I was watching the debates. I've kind of narrowed it down.
Can you even relate to these Democrats anymore?
I think I can relate better to them than I can to the Republicans.
Really?
The party's not the same party.
Well, let me ask you something. Because see, I used to be a northeastern blue-collar liberal, but I do not recognize these people anymore.
They're a little different. They're a little different.
I mean, they've moved so far left. It's scary. But let me ask you, here's a couple of things.
All right.
I mean, right now, it's all about identity politics. I don't see issues anymore. I see all about identity.
That's the way it was last time.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. What does that do but separate us?
Right.
Now, they have, the left right now is championing this whole transgender movement. You have transgender men taking over women's sports. Do you think that's hypocritical?
I think it's hypocritical. No.
I mean, if the left says we're for women, yet you have men coming in, taking over their sports, and denying women scholarships, that's hypocritical.
Yeah,
Is it?
I kind of fall in the middle on that. I know it's one of those things.
Where's the middle on that?
Well, there are women who women who transgender to a man, or vice versa. A lot of the women are just as.
But they're not. If that's true, they'd be winning. They're not winning. The men are dominating the sport, women's sports.
Well, they've got they're kind of ruling, especially the soccer team. The soccer team.
Why not have this compromise? Why don't we have a transgender athletic league and leave the women to the women, the men to the men?
Yeah, that's about the most sensible thing on the issue I've ever heard.
Thank you.
Seriously.
Now, we also have socialists lecturing us on economics now. Do you find that a bit hypocritical?
Yes.
Thank you. We also have liberals that are, say they care for children, but they're championing infanticide. Do you find that a bit hypocritical?
Yes.
Thank you. We have homosexuals lecturing us on morals. Do you find that hypocritical?
Well, that's true.
Is that hypocritical?
I think it is.
Yeah, so, Now we have, we find Democrats that are actually, even in the debates last night, if you saw,
Yeah, I watched it last night.
they asked them, should we give medical care to illegal aliens? And everyone raised their hand. We have Democrats now giving more rights to illegal aliens than we do veterans on the street here. Do you find that hypocritical?
I'm going to say no. The reason why they're doing their best to try to get all the veterans, trying to get them more medical care as much as they can do. But you have a Senate up there, McConnell, who turns everything.
No, we're talking about illegal aliens coming over here, getting food, housing, medicine, education for free. We pay for that. You don't think? Yet we have Americans on the street that can't get that. I can't go into the government and say, "Excuse me, can you give me a house, pay for my medical school, and educate?" They're going to tell me walk out the door. We've got illegal aliens walking across the border, and they get it. Do you find that hypocritical?
I'm going to take the field on that.
Sounds to me like you're not a very strong liberal, because if you disagree, this is the liberal agenda now. This is the liberal agenda. Cortez is running the whole program now. It's not Pelosi.
Yeah, I like Pelosi. Pelosi's one of my favorites.
Really?
She really is. But I think she's still a puppet with Trump right now. I think she can speak a little bit more powerful than what she does. And I'm not saying he has to be impeached. I'm not looking at that portion of it. But she has stood up to him to some extent, but she still could be stronger.
You have the largest corporations, the most great. Now, here's another hypocritical thing about the left. They say, oh, we're all against the big corporations, yet the biggest, richest corporations are all liberals. So, and yet there we have Google that came out the other day with executives in Google on film, caught on film, saying they are trying to rig the next election so Trump won't get in. Do you find that hypocritical?
Yes. I just don't like Trump. I'm sorry. I
Not liking somebody.
I didn't like his policy. I don't like his policy.
What's wrong with this policy? We got people working. We got the most women working. We got the most blacks working. We got most Latinos working. We are talking peace with. We got our people hostages back from North Korea. We got the remains back from North Korea. They're not lobbing missiles at us anymore. So what policy is it you don't like?
You don't bow down to a Russian dictator.
Where did he bow down to a Russian dictator? He's put more sanctions on the Russians than any of the previous administrations.
I'm still not going to be a Trump supporter. I don't care how much you argue with me on that.
But everything you're saying is not true. So
It's way off.
Yeah, I'm just not a Trump supporter. I'm 65 years old. I was born during the Eisenhower administration. I've seen Republicans, Democrats, both in all parties. I have never seen one man such as him get in. I think he knows everything, but you can't do all that in 2 years. All this.
Where did you get this information? Because he appoints people in positions to go ahead, and he actually listens to people. That's just amazing. I've talked to people that work with him. I talked to the woman that's running his re-election campaign. I talked to the guy that put his pipes in the first building.
You got to soak it in first. You can talk to somebody, but unless you
what hasn't he soaked in?
Anything anybody said to him. He has his own way of doing things. He doesn't listen to all of his people around.
What's wrong with that? What did all the other politicians do for us but get us in the mess we're in?
Well, you had.
If we're talking about, we should be like the others. What like the others? They got us in the mess we're in. He's trying to get us out of it.
Everybody loved Reagan. For the 8 years that he was in, and everybody loved Clinton.
I don't know this everybody stuff.
I'm just saying my own personal views. I didn't vote for Trump. I wouldn't vote for him again coming up.
Who are you going to vote for?
I don't know yet.
We all know who's running.
Yeah,
Is there any one of them that would make a decent president?
Right now,
it's not going to take our gun rights and every freaking thing we work for away.
Kamala Harris is probably my first
Kamala
choice.
Harris, are you kidding me?
She's my first choice.
Have you watched her and
watched her
have
last
deals
night.
with people?
I watched her last night.
She wants our guns. Would you give up your guns?
You own guns. You own guns. Well, see, that's the difference.
Yeah.
So what about us that do? Would you take our guns?
No, I wouldn't take her guns.
But that's one of her main issues.
I don't know. I don't look at.
She'll start a civil war if she does that.
Well, yeah, I agree with that. I would agree with that with anybody.
Yeah, seriously, something goes down right now. Who's going to protect you?
I agree.
A man with a gun. I got a gun. I protect you.
We will hope.
Or a woman.
Yeah.
She's got a gun there.
We would hope.
Oh, you don't have to hope. It happens.
Yeah, you would hope.
As a matter of fact, they suppress every single day the amount of crimes that are stopped by people with guns.
Yeah.
They'll go ahead, because we're talking about these guys right here that are all liberal.
Okay.
95% of them are liberal.
Yeah.
So here's what you're looking at. You had Trump's home party against them. You had the media against them. You had Silicon Valley against him. You had the Justice Department weaponized against him, yet he still won. What does that tell you? That means people like us went beyond the lies that we've been told and heard the truth.
Well, what's the truth to you could be.
Oh, now we're talking about alternative facts?
No, I'm just saying what could be a truth to you could be a lie to me. So I can see it totally different.
Yeah, that's alternative facts,
Well,
pal.
but that
You got different facts.
Yeah, and that's what I look at. If I look at them,
Where do you get your facts?
I read all the time.
What do you read?
What do you read?
I read everything from the
What do you read?
newspaper to Google. I watch CNN all the time. I watch CNN all that. So,
CNN has got to be the most weaponized
propaganda that you could possibly imagine. They don't tell you news. That is pure programming.
Well,
they don't call it programming for nothing.
You know, between that, MSNBC, and more so.
You're talking about pure propaganda programming.
You listen to those.
That's not
The way
news.
I feel about Fox when I'm watching those guys on Fox in the morning.
That is controlled opposition. Well, let me give you something. If you're listening to anything that takes commercial money, you're not listening to the truth. Not even Fox will tell you the truth about 9/11 or poison vaccines because half of their commercials come from pharmaceutical companies.
I agree.
So you're listening to commercials, the news. You're listening to propaganda. You're not getting the
Let me
truth.
ask you this. Where do you get your facts?
To independent news investigators, people that take and sell their own products or take donations directly from the people. That way they are not beholden to any sponsors whatsoever. They can actually tell you the truth. Those people are the ones that are being suppressed by Google now, who is coming out and taking people like me off the internet for being out here and speaking the truth. The censorship is on the left, and if you censor, that means your argument is weak. And it is the left right now that is censoring. So their argument is weak.
You listen to InfoWars.
Yes.
That dude's been like kicked off by everybody. He's an idiot.
And you're okay with that?
He's a performance.
You're okay with that?
Performance artist.
Wait, he's got the right to say anything, so you're okay with censoring?
Trump haters too.
You're okay with censoring?
He was 100%. What was he? What was he saying that he got kicked off for?
What difference does it make? You're okay with censoring?
Bro,
you're okay with censoring?
No, that's not even what the argument's about.
No, it is. You're saying answer my question. Are you okay with censoring?
Yes
I'm
or
not
no?
going to answer that question because that's not what we're talking about.
Yes, it is. Are you okay with
How about you
censoring?
calm down? You see how calm this dude
No,
is? See how
you
calm
won't
I
answer
am?
my question.
You're
I'll
out of
calm down.
control.
Answer my
You're
question.
Out of control
Are you
because your
okay
argument
with
is weak.
censoring?
You're out of
What is
control
our?
because your
Just answer
argument
my
is
question.
weak.
Are you okay with censoring? You just told me he was taken off. Why was he taken off?
Unlaughable.
So, like,
I can't wait for you guys to
You're a
selection.
Good luck with that. Come back. I'll give you odds. I'll give you odds, lady. I'll give you odds.
what were we talking about? What were we talking about?
So there's a woman that's okay with censoring. Oh, Alex Jones. What's wrong with Alex Jones?
I won't even go to that.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, censoring in the media happens every day.
Is you okay with that?
Yeah, why not?
In what context, though? Like, what? Like, I think that there has to
If
be censoring in
Americans know
terms
about our
of.
problems.
So you're not okay with your own self. You have to rely on someone else to
no,
tell
I
you
think
what's true
more
or not?
In terms of children, like there has to be censorship.
What?
in
Who
terms
would
of
be your
children.
choice of president?
What?
In terms of what, like?
What children? What are you talking
Right
about?
down in front of you is like 22.
I don't think I'm qualified right now yet.
What are you talking? Excuse me. You said the children. What does that bring? What does that have to do with anything?
I mean, your children should be censored to a limit in terms of what they.
But
are
we're
exposed to
talking
in
about
television.
adults. We're talking
Okay,
about
well, that's
adults
what I
here.
was
You
asking.
said you're okay with censoring the news.
I didn't say that.
I asked you. That's what
No, I
you
said
said
in terms
that.
of children.
You're okay with censoring the news? Then why? How justify that? Justify that.
To what's exposed
Because if
to their
the Americans
television.
know about what's going on, then so will other countries.
Well, excuse me.
That's true. If the Americans know what's going on, so will other countries.
But how would they know what's going on if you're censoring the truth?
No, that's why.
What do you think the truth is that's being?
Well, shouldn't we be the arbitrators of that?
Yes.
Well, then, why should someone else censor the news
But
for
what do
you?
you
You
think
haven't
is
got the
being
brains to
censored?
do it yourself?
What do you think is being censored?
Well, nothing should be censored.
Okay, I feel the same way. But what's being censored
Other than
that's
the only
for
thing that should be the only thing that should be against the law is inciting violence against other people. Other than that, everything else is wide open. You should have the ability to go ahead and decipher for yourself what's right or wrong.
I just don't-
But we're talking about InfoWars getting taken off the air.
What if
InfoWars?
InfoWars is the most censored independent news agency.
I know you
So,
don't
like,
like Trump, and that's fine.
Like people stealing your information?
What?
Is it people stealing your information?
They're a news news aggregate. They give out news because they are not taking commercial money. They are free to speak whatever they want. And because they were speaking the truth, they were censored by all the major internet networks.
You know what I mean? InfoWars committed slander and defamation several times, and it incited violence in a pizzeria.
Show me the court cases where that's true.
There was.
Show me the court cases where that's true. That every court case is thrown out.
Alex Jones issued a public apology for it.
Every court case is thrown out. Every court case is thrown out. Look it up.
I'm not.
I've been on the show several times. I am in personal contact with those people all the time. So don't tell me I don't know what I'm talking about.
Was in a sex.
So you're okay with censoring?
If it's slander and defamation, yes, because it's a federal crime. Most certainly, yes.
Again, show me the court case.
There doesn't need to be a court case for it to be a federal crime. He admitted they did it.
No. Show me the court case.
Yeah, the whole world.
What? Of what?
You're saying you should be censored for slander and defamation, but you can't prove to me that exists.
He apologized for it.
Show me where he apologized.
Happy to.
He's taxing
Happy to.
He's taxing the stock market. Are you involved with the stock market?
Say what?
Is this how are you doing today, sir?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. I'm having a ball.
That's good. That's cool.
So people are okay with censoring. Is that all right? Do you believe that? Do you believe people should be censored?
No, I don't believe people should be censored. But I believe when it infringes upon other people's liberties, that's when it goes
Well,
too
that's
far.
what I said. If you incite violence against another person, that's against the law, right?
Alex Jones apologizes for promoting Pizzagate hoax.
And what source is that?
The New York Times.
Oh, God.
Okay. How about the Hill?
The New York slime, huh? Really?
Okay. What's a source you respect?
Well, again, if they're taking commercial money, let me go over this again. See this here? They lie, right? Okay? All right. If they're taking commercial money, who are they responsible to? The people paying them the money. Am I correct?
That's a bipartisan thing. Right?
So, have you ever heard the truth on any of these news programs about 9/11? Have you?
What would you consider the truth of 9/11?
The truth I've heard out here from the people who are there. I spoke to a NYPD officer that was there that day last week.
What truth do you think they're covering, though? That's my...
That those buildings came down by controlled demolition. I spoke to one of the originators of architects and engineers for 9/11 Truth, where over 3,000 architects and engineers, some of them the best in the world, have signed their names to a paper, a petition, saying those buildings came down by controlled demolition. Now, why would they sign their names, reputations, lives on the line to say that, if it wasn't true?
I don't know, but my question is, how does that affect
it goes back to this. When did these guys ever show you the truth of what these architects and engineers bring up as evidence?
That's not objective, though. It's their opinion. There's several other contrasting opinions by professionals.
Then why don't they promote them? Why don't they put them up? Because we're talking basic physics here. There's no empirical evidence? Let me shove it in your face. Okay? I'm going to shove it in your face right now.
Shove it in your face.
I would beg you to go to these websites on the bottom here. Look at that. Look at this flyer. Read it, because we're talking about physics here. You can't change the laws of physics. Am I correct?
Yeah, of course.
This is this. Yes. It's not anything else. It's water boils at a certain steel melts at a certain right. So I would ask you to look at this and ask why.
Wait, can I ask you this though?
Sure.
Wouldn't these websites then want to give the information that you want to hear? Because it's the same fucking thing with them. They're getting paid to give.
These guys are not getting paid. As I said, they're putting their lives and reputations on the line. They didn't need to do this.
Website itself generates money, though.
Generates money.
They're making money off the ads.
You think these guys are making enough money They're losing money to go ahead and put their names on it. Here, some of those guys are the best architects and engineers in the world. They were building skyscrapers and bridges. They didn't need this.
Look at Alec Jones.
They didn't need it, but look at that and then read that and then question. That's all I'm asking you to do is question.
If you're making money,
118 firemen. Now, it's NIST, National Institute for Science and Technology, right? Whose job it is, if the bridge falls down over here, it falls down, they come out, and it's their job to find out what made it fall. One of the things they do, which is in the MO, is to test for explosives. Even if no explosions were heard, they still have to test for it. It's part of the MO.
Yeah.
All right. 118 firemen testified to explosions going off all around them on the day of 9/11. The cop that I spoke to the other day heard them. Not one single test was done by NIST for explosives. Why?
Because they were explosives.
Why? Why didn't NIST perform that test?
Explain the planes. How do you explain that?
Then explain building number 7. Building number 7, 47 stories tall, housed all 16 of our intelligence agencies. And from where we're standing, from the Twin Towers, from here to the other side of the French Market, wasn't hit by a damn thing at 5:20 in the afternoon. Did this in 6 seconds. Straight to the ground, perfect controlled demolition. It wasn't even mentioned in the 9/11 report. You could shoot a howitzer into that thing from here and you wouldn't have cracked the windows. That's how much of a fortress it was.
But so
$15 billion worth of gold disappeared in its basement. Never to be found.
Do you know? Then what do you think about the planes? Like, what do you think?
You think it didn't?
Well, planes flew into the building, but planes can't bring down a steel building like that. If you watch the architects who built that building on camera saying they built those buildings like a screen door. In other words, they had webs of steel. So it's like if you take a pencil and you stick it into the screen door doesn't collapse, it holds its integrity.
But the person who built the building.
There was explosives on the bottom.
That's what I'm saying. Who put those explosions there?
I'm going to guess terrorists.
Maybe. Who knows? We haven't had a real investigation on it. The investigation we had was what?
Who do you think explosives? George Bush?
Well, who had the ability to do it? Matter of fact, who was head of the security company up to the day of 9/11? Who was head of the security company? Merrill Bush, George W. Bush's brother.
Dude. Bro! This is why I watch InfoWars sometimes. I watch it sometimes.
Thank you.
Because Alex Jones actually has some shit to say.
I don't know. He profits just as much as any of them.
How, when they take them all down, they're trying to take them off by the suits you brought up, by the very suits they keep on coming out. It's one of the way the left tries to destroy you, is by to keep on going ahead and put you in suits and making you spend all your money on...
He admitted it himself. He caused violence through one of his reports and had to apologize.
He didn't intend that, though.
Okay, the path to hell is not frequently paved with bad intentions.
So do you think? So you really do believe in a hard right and a hard left?
I believe there's a deep state that plays us off of one another by putting us in little categories. Oh, you're bad. Oh, all Democrats are idiots. All Republicans are horrible. They want us shouting at one another. Let me recommend a documentary to watch. If you're not familiar with Procter & Gamble, it's the third largest conglomerate in the world. Foster Gamble, heir to that vast fortune, groomed to be a top 0.00001%, has an epiphany. As a young man, he goes, wait a second, I'm surrounded by psychopaths and crazy people. I can't be part of what they want. So he breaks from the agenda. He makes this documentary, Thrive, Thrive. Watch it. First thing he brings up in there is government cover-ups for over 100 years. Free energy suppression. We've had free energy for 100 years. But they don't want us free, because you imagine how free we'd be if we didn't have to pay an energy bill or put gas in our car.
Yeah.
How much freer could we be? They don't want us free. They want us controlled. Control is everything with these elites. So now that's what Thrive goes into, because if you look at the Bilderberg group, that's one of the groups. It's the top bankers in the Bank of International Settlements. Well, the Koch brothers are a cog in the wheel, but they're kind of like lower level.
Comcast?
Well, in Thrive, they show this. They show how the pyramid works. The very top elites, who's at the top, the international banks underneath them, the banks that own the corporations that own the governments that control the military, that controls us. So it goes down. Now, here, I'm going to scare you to death. Here's where it all comes down to. Okay, this is it. This is the battle we're fighting, and this is what you got to be aware of. The elites have only kept us around this long because they needed slave labor. With the advent of AI robotic technology, they don't need us anymore. Overpopulation, less jobs, they don't need us anymore. So how do you get rid of us? Well, they have us kill ourselves. You feed us GMO food, you put fluoride in the water, you spray chemtrails on us, you get us sick, you build massive hospitals, drain us of our wealth so we can't fight back in our health, and you kill us with soft kill weapons.
Well, what about this though? The people that are doing this are the same as us, but obviously have a bigger priority. So it's killing them too.
No, I was just saying that they haven't got the antidotes for the poisons they give us. Right now, if you go to West Virginia, there's a 143,000 square mile area there. You take your cell phone in there, boop, like no technology whatsoever. That's where they're all moving. All this technology that goes through us is destroying our DNA. They want to put in the 5G. We might as well stick our heads in a microwave. This stuff we're being microwaved. This whole thing is designed to get us sick. Soft kill weapons. They don't need us anymore. So they look at it. All right, the Georgia Guidestones. You ever hear of them? Right. 1974. This tall, distinguished guy with a foreign accent walks into the Elbington Granite Factory in Elbington, Georgia. Happens to be the granite factory of the world, right? All right. Pots a bunch of money on the table. He goes, I represent the most powerful people in the world. I want you to build a monolith for the future of mankind. And on this monolith, it's going to have the 10 directives for the future. It's still there. It's called American Stonehenge. 4 20-foot tall slabs, astronomically aligned with all the demonic symbols all around it. And the number one directive, carved in granite in 8 different languages, is this. Maintain the world's population at no more than 500 million in accordance with nature. So when Cortez got on, we're going to die in 12 years, she was projecting the Georgia Guidestones prediction of reducing the world's population by 97%. Because one of the things that these maniacs believe is that they have to project what they're going to do. It gives them power, they feel. So, and it also makes us stupid because they can put it out there, and if we talk about it, they go, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist, you're an idiot. Yeah. They belittle us for telling the truth. And that's why they'll take people down like InfoWars, because they tell the truth.
Okay, hold on. I'm confused about your position on one thing. You're talking about how AOC was talking about the recent climate study. I take the 12-year thing. So you're saying you agree with that, or you disagree?
I'll tell you, it's all bullshit. Let me ask you something. What is CO2?
Carbon dioxide.
Basic element of life.
Yes.
Sure.
Plants breathe it in, we breathe it out, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
We need it. The more CO2, the bigger the plants, the more oxygen, everything lives, right?
Sure.
Okay. But they want to reduce the CO2 levels to what? 0?
No.
What do you mean, no?
That's not how it works. You can never reduce it to 0, but it's rising to a certain point.
Who says?
All the respected scientists.
All the respected scientists are getting paid off by whom? Getting paid off by whom?
These architects, because these scientists are putting them. Okay, wait. I listen to you. So the scientists that say this are respected, and they're putting themselves on the line because there are people who don't believe it. These guys are the fucking exact same.
No.
We believe this.
No, they're
We're
not
putting-
getting
wait,
funded
wait,
by
wait.
the government.
We're putting
The
ourselves-
ones that are promoting the global warming are. I'll give you an example.
Okay,
I'll give you an example.
Why would Trump not believe in global warming then? He's part of the government.
Because it's not a monolithic thing. There are good and bad people in everything.
Okay, so okay, you think Trump is a good person? That's.
I think he's trying to fight the good fight because he's seeing where it's going. He knows where it's going. He knows 9/11 was an inside job. I mean, if you see the interview with him right after 9/11, the day after, because he builds buildings in New York.
Yeah, definitely.
So he did this interview with them, and he says, there's something wrong here. I build buildings. I know how they're built. I know how they come down. And those buildings came down funny. There's something wrong with that. When he was running, he said this, and this is a quote. You elect me president, you will find out who really brought down the Twin Towers.
But we
Unquote.
haven't.
Well, because we got a deep state. Do you realize how long it takes to get us into this corrupt state where you believe the lies they're telling you?
But how about this?
But he lies.
Wait, how about this? How about this? Wait. How about this? Every single day, Trump says whatever is on his mind, which we all love, whatever. Everyone fucking loves it, whatever. But then why wouldn't he say that? Why the fuck wouldn't he just be like, guys, it's all fucking bullshit? Why wouldn't he
I
say
would
that?
love him to do that because then it's
okay.
because they screw him already right now for even mild things he says. If you came out and said something like that without with the people to back him up to do it, then they'd say, "Oh, Pete, this guy's crazy." We have a deep state. I mean, he's mired in it. Though he's got enemies in the White House. We are so deep in the corruption that it is almost impossible. And I don't think it's going to be possible, myself personally, to peacefully separate ourselves from this. I think there's going to be eventually a violent civil war.
But there's probably going to be a war. Obviously, shit happens. But the global warming thing. Okay, going back to the global warming thing. You're like, let's not even fucking worry about that because we have other things going on.
Can I give you this? What? Look this up on your phone.
Okay.
Look it up.
Yeah, I got
The history of weather and climate modification programs. You will see programs, both government and private, going back to 1891. Do you think it's even possible that the military wouldn't try to control the weather? A leaked Air Force document, 1997, was this. Weather is a false multiplier, controlling the weather by 2025. President Kennedy in 1964, before the UN General Assembly, said this: will you use today's technology to control the weather? President Eisenhower started the Department of Weather and Climate Modification in 1954. Lieutenant Ben Livingston took that and became known as the father of weather weapons. We used weather weapons in Vietnam from 68 to 72. When that was leaked out, the UN passed the UN Weather Weapons Treaty ban, banning the use of weather weapons. We don't normally ban things we don't have. We, the governments and programs, you can get on your phone right now and hire a company. That will not to stop it from raining on your wedding day. It might cost you $250,000, but you can do it. Okay. China bragged about making it snow for the Winter Olympics and had to shut down Saigon. They made it snow so much. They also bragged about making it rain over an area 6 times the size of France. We control the weather, but they use this bullshit about global warming to blame us. Oh, you're the problem. You got too much CO2. We got to go ahead and put you in a little box and stop you from driving around. So it's all about control.
Tell me how humans can control what the universe does.
No, but okay, wait. He just said that.
The leaked Air Force document is a 1,500-page document. You can read.
Okay,
Get online and read it.
Right,
and it shows you the technology. It's not all that difficult. Radio waves, ice crystal frequencies, chemtrail, heavy metals in the air.
Okay,
it's not that hard.
But then how about this? We're in fucking debt by whatever, okay?
20 trillion.
When it is sunny, it is proven that the economy, especially in the United States, goes way up. We make a fuck ton when it is sunny. So why the hell would it be why didn't they just make it sunny all in the United States? Because guess what? We'd be out of debt if it'd be sunny every single day. Why wouldn't they do that? You asked me that.
Control. Again, it goes back to control. How much money you could make if you knew what the soybeans would be costing 6 months from now. Right now, we get the Midwest flooding out. Well, who's to say that those floods weren't caused by people that are saying, I'm betting on the soybeans and wheat going up 6 months from now, flooding that out and making a ton of money on future markets? That's how they control.
Wait, I have a question for you. So I agree with one thing when you said it's not our fault that climate change is a problem, but I'll tell you whose fault it is. And this is proven by all the top scientists. We were talking
wait, you said, wait, don't talk yet. You said we're going to listen to you. You're just open mind.
Yeah.
Listen to him. Come on, open mind.
You were saying yourselves that the government and gas companies and what are keeping us under control, right? It's big corporations like that that aren't following the law, and that's contributing to climate change. It's not us personally, but it is affecting us because they're making profits and the rest of us are suffering for it. And the problem is, right now, people like him...
We're currently in New Orleans. You're having drinks. I don't think anybody's really suffering. So capitalism at its best.
I'm a capitalist, but I'm saying companies need to follow regulations.
Yeah, we do pollute. We do pollute. Yes. That is no without a doubt we do pollute. But pollution is not climate change. A volcano spews out more CO2 than we have since the beginning of time.
Yes, it's not the addition of carbon dioxide, it's the rate at which carbon dioxide is being added is higher than it's ever been.
It was 10 times this amount during the Jurassic period. Plants
and what happened to the dinosaurs?
10 times as big.
Yeah, what happened?
Dinosaurs are walking around.
Where's the dinosaurs at?
Well, allegedly they got killed by comets, right?
Yes, and that terraformed the Earth.
Thank you, and that's what they're doing now. They're terraforming the planet. So we can't go back to depopulation. If they can go ahead and control the crops and starve us out, make us sick, it's called soft kill weapons. They're attacking us from all sides. Let me give you an example. Fluoride in the water. What's that for? What's fluoride in the water for?
I suppose that it happens from...
To clean your teeth, that's what they say.
That's what they say. But who made the government a dentist?
Sure.
What right do they, what right do they have to go ahead and clean our teeth? Who they made them Mr. Tooth Decay? Do you know where the fluoride came from? Fluoride is a byproduct of the aluminum and fertilizer manufacturing industry. It is one of the most toxic wastes known to man. There are laws against dumping it in the ocean, yet they put it in our drinking water. Why? Because when Hitler got together with his scientists and his control intelligence guys, he said, you guys come up with something we can put in the water to dumb down the people. When they experimented with fluoride in the concentration camps, they found out that when they put that fluoride in the water, the prisoners were IQ dropped 20 points on average, and they were more docile and easier to handle. Right after that, Project Paperclip brought over approximately 36,000 Nazis. We put them to work for us in our labs, and then it shows up in our water. So we infested our government with Nazis. So again, why is fluoride in the water? It's the only thing they put in the water to treat us and not the water.
Wait, okay. You said like something like earlier about basically the government's against us. Well, then shouldn't you be preaching that we shouldn't have Republican and Democrat? We should be working together.
The founding fathers preached just that. They never ever wanted. They never wanted parties.
You said something about screw the left. Well, shouldn't you be more let's bring everyone together to go against this?
That's what I'm doing out here.
Well,
that's exactly what I'm doing out there. I'm trying to get people to see the false economy, the dichotomy between the two. You understand it, and of course, people, you got to take positions. You got to look at something. You got to go right or wrong.
Yeah, okay. All
right. Right now, and I had a professor of philosophy. This was about 3 weeks ago. I love this guy. Okay. Professor of philosophy from L.A. L.A., which would go, oh God, I was going, oh, liberal shit. Okay, right? So, and we got to talking. I brought up education, and he interrupted and he said, our whole education system is completely corrupt right now. We've got teachers that are teaching a left-wing communist ideology. This is his words. They are not allowing the children to think for themselves. They are not giving them the tools to go out there and think for yourselves. They are preaching a left-wing ideology. This is a professor of philosophy from LA that said this. I got it on video. Go watch it.
I completely agree with you, but wouldn't you say that probably a more really right state is probably doing the exact same fucking thing?
No, because
the reason they do.
Then what do they preach? What does the right preach? But individual responsibility, not government control. We are responsible for ourselves.
Yes.
That's what the right preaches, not government control, not government saying you can't listen to that.
Okay. I mean, that's fair.
We have to,
it sounds like you don't even. Okay.
Let me give you an example. Government controls we put in our bodies, correct?
Yeah.
All right. I mean, you even got de Blasio in New York saying you can't have this much sugar. You got to go. Look, as far as I'm concerned, there's only one drug that should be illegal. Devil's breath. That's a date rape drug. That's the one you would give to someone else. You wouldn't ever take it yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. Yeah,
so it does harm to someone else. This is what, if we had a real, I'm talking about all the drugs. If we had a real free society, because we got more laws than any other country around. We got people in prison and all the rest of the world combined. How do we even call ourselves free? Here's what a free would look like. Educate you guys to what the drugs do. Educate you to what they do. And then when you get to of age, do them if you want, you dumbass. Get out of the gene pool as quickly as possible. Personal responsibility. Freedom to choose what you want to do on yourself. What you do for yourself. But if you give harm to someone else, then you're in trouble.
But what? Okay,
then I have a question for you. What do you think about corporate prisons, which currently a lot of on the right are
horrible. Corporate prisons are
And we agree on that.
Yes, of course. We're talking about a corruption between the corrupt prosecutors, judges, and the people that own the prison for profit. That's why I say we got more people in prison right now than the rest of the world combined.
But the whole thing with the drugs thing, the states that are more legalizing drugs right now are more blue states than red states. If you really say that, are legalizing drugs.
Yeah, but look again. We go back to education.
Yeah,
it's not so much about here's what they do for you. It's just that here. Now, one of the things they want us to do is be dumbed down. Here, do these drugs, you dumbass. We'll walk you around by your nose. Go ahead, become able-minded. Go ahead, able-minded.
Why are the red states not letting you do drugs? Because you're saying that.
Because again, it's about control. It's about control. I'm not saying that all Republicans are good or all Reds are bad.
Yeah.
It's all about control, man. It's all about control. The government itself is an abomination. It should be the smallest thing possible. We shouldn't be condoning it and giving it more. You had all these idiots on TV last night at the Democratic debate that, oh yeah, Medicare for all. What? These guys can't run a damn pop stand. I'm going to trust them with my health. Are you out of your mind? No.
All the other
these are the people that want to kill us and control us. If you give them that kind of control, where are they going to do it? What do you think they're going to do with us?
All the other first world countries already have it, though.
Yeah, and they come here to get their health care. Where did Mick Jagger go to get his health care? He didn't stay in England, did he?
Before there was socialized care, though.
No. That was just recently. Mick Jagger came here to get treated. He didn't stay in England.
For what?
What difference does it make?
There's definitely things that work better. Things that work better.
Again, if you want to trust your health to the government, go right ahead, pal. Go right ahead. You do that.
Okay.
After all the things I just said, what the government's doing, poisoning you, putting poison in the water for you to drink, you're going to trust them with your health. That's smart.
Have a good day, sir.
All right.
Yeah, we've got to go get lunch.
Hey, it was very, very good
I got my vote in 2020. I'm telling you.
All right. Did I give you guys?
Are you going to run for president?
If elected, I refuse to serve.
Yeah.
Here's a get out of jail free card from Hillary Clinton for you guys.
Hey, thank you so much. Hey, I'll take one of those.
And you will go see this entire conversation on my YouTube channel.
What's your YouTube channel?
I got a granddaughter in college in Oregon, and if she doesn't think the way that liberal professor does, she's not going to pass.
I hear that over and over again.
Yeah.
Students out here that are conservative that keep their mouths zipped in order to get a passing grade. Now, that isn't totalitarianism. What is?
And it's a lot of cities in California. You can't speak your mind.
I know that. That's why I'm out here. I mean, you know,
LA,
when did we become a country where you got to watch what you say to get ahead?
Yeah.
When did that happen?
Well, this last president.
Last several presidents. We can go back 50, 60 years. We can go back a long way. There is an interview on the YouTube of a KGB agent.
And pardon me, one thing, I just wanted to let you know I'm good. If you're going to put ours on YouTube, we want our faces censored. None of us legally consent to our likeness being used for political purposes.
You're in a public space. You have no expectation for privacy, none.
But if you're using it for profit,
I'm not using it for profit. I'm using it for information.
Okay, but if there's ad revenue on it,
there's no. I don't accept ads from YouTube. Yeah, you shouldn't be ashamed of what you have to say anyway. Where were we? Oh yeah, there's a KGB agent that has an interview, defected in '58. And he says the plan to take over the United States was our 30-year plan. You couldn't take it over militarily. You're way too strong. So the first thing we did is we infiltrated your school boards. Then after about 2 or 3 generations, you got a Bernie Sanders running for president.
Yeah.
And that's what's happened. That's what's happened. You've got this social ideology that has been infested into our society. And, you know, this is where we're at, and that's why we have to fight it.
How much for Make America Great Again hat?
Oh, we can talk.
So how was that? Was that worth going through all that? I think so. I kind of liked it. I even liked editing it because I didn't have to do much. All right, if you like it, like it. If you care, you share. If you can, you contribute. And as always, pray for me. Thank you for stopping by. God bless you, and I'll see you on the streets.